Hey, it's Pat, and I'm here to show you how these two pieces of wire can help you grow bigger, healthier plants, and we're going to talk about the man who proved this 50 years ago. If you like our videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. Join our Facebook group called SuperTrellis Heroes. So, the big word that's in the title, thigmomorphogenesis. Let's break that up into some pieces and understand what we're talking about here. Thigmo is a plant's ability to adjust growth to touch stimuli. Morph, change. Genesis refers to this all-consuming topic of plants adapting to stimuli. Another word you may have heard is thigmotropism. Thigmotropism is how you may have heard this topic applied to specific types of plants. An example of thigmotropism would be tendrils of a vining plant bumping into a trellis and then wrapping itself around. Not all plants climb this way, but this is just one example of thigmotropism. All of these types of growth are under the umbrella of thigmomorphogenesis. So, how does this affect plants and us as growers? We should try to look at this topic through two lenses. How do plants react to stimuli in nature? And then how can we replicate that stimuli in our man-made habitats for our plants? It's important to consider a plant's behavior in nature before we begin trying to influence them on our own. Every genus has many thousands, probably thousands of years of adaptation to a specific environment under its belt. This means their genes are hard-coded to give plants some unique and special skills. These special skills allow them to compete with other plants and organisms in nature. Let's take aroids, for example. They can live on trees and they can root themselves directly on a surface if it's just slightly damp. So they don't actually need dirt to survive, and they can crawl through a forest canopy almost like a snake. All right, enough daydreaming. How can we use this sort of information to our advantage? There's a few things that we can replicate that are really easy. We can replicate wind with a fan. We can replicate rain with a misting system or just a spray bottle. We can have some outside movement with our hands, and we can give a plant structure with a trellis or another type of support. All of these things are going to make a plant have a thigmo response. They will change their growth patterns to adapt around them. Wind will make them grow shorter internodes between leaves. Nearby moisture can be targeted with roots, and structure will allow them to rest and allow them to grow vertically toward a light source. Okay, best practices and why we recommend using a trellis. Any climbing or creeping plant needs to be on a stable support at the earliest moment possible. There's no avoiding this fact. I'm sorry. I'm a guy that sells this trellis, but I'm also the guy that invented it based on this fact. I needed to get my wife's plants to stop growing all over the apartment. And I also needed to make them grow better than before, so she would even allow me to touch those plants. Once a plant is on a stable support, it will then begin maturing. Here's an example for you, right here. I've been growing this plant for the last couple of months from a leafless chunk. As you can see, the fourth leaf on this plant is already fenestrated. And I attribute this to the plant being secured tightly on a trellis, of course I do, and allowing the upper roots to find their way into the soil to find nutrients. I promised a shortcut in this video, and now we can get into it. Haif's research indicates that the only point of a plant that really has any ability to adapt is the newest growth. I have another video digging into all of Haif's research, so go check that one out once we're done here. To execute on this, we need those two wire ties that I showed you earlier. Seriously, it's just those two wire ties. That's all you need. According to Haif, we don't need to keep the entire plant strapped tight to a support, only the two most recent internodes. So the two most recent internodes, all we need to tie off is here, and then we either need to tie off or support this internode. This is enough signal that the plant can throw off bigger, more mature leaves. All you have to do going forward as the plant grows is just leapfrog these ties up the plant. All of the lower nodes will be supported by the trellis because you were diligent and you wove it through the hexagons as it grew. And that's it. It's that simple. I hope this guide was helpful, and I hope the explanation of thigmomorphogenesis brings you some results. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Join our Facebook group called SuperTrellis Heroes. I'll see you next time.